Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new on my channel, then welcome. So today's video is going to be yet another makeup tutorial, but it's like one of those where I just kind of sit and chat with you at the same time. I don't want to get into too much blabbering right now because I'm going to do that a lot in the video anyway. So if you want to see how I got this very, very over-the-top makeup look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so let's dive into the eyeshadows first, as is the norm usually when I do my looks, because I don't want to mess up my face makeup. I do not know how to apply eyeshadow without it falling all over my cheeks. This look will be done using our favorite Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. Now, okay, actually I'm first going to show you what color I'm going to use to start off our very royal and very, very majestic look. And then I want to talk to you about this palette specific. But I'm first going to take the shade Silk Cream on a somewhat fluffy crease brush. I have already primed my eyelids and applied the NYX dark circle concealer underneath my eyes, just to make me look less scary. But yeah, I do actually want to start off talking about this palette because I think this tutorial will probably be the last one with this palette, at least for a while. And I know that you guys love this palette and a lot of you have it, and a lot of you like to watch my videos specifically for the tutorials that I do with this specific palette, and I get that. But also, as much as I love this palette, I feel like I don't know, I'm like neglecting all my other palettes. I let my creativity flow when I'm doing my YouTube videos, and if every single time I'm using just this palette, it's, you know, it kind of gets boring for me at one point. Okay, no, that's actually not true. I can't say it gets boring because this palette, like, I don't know, I could keep playing with it, but I just feel like, you know, like I want to dip into my other palettes as well, you know? And also, I don't just want to be a Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette kind of channel. I don't want to be known just for that. I want to offer more tutorials with more palettes and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of scared of getting stuck with just this one label, so to say. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But I honestly feel like I am not going to bust this palette out for a while after this video. I am next going to dip into the shade Central Park, and I'm kind of doing this sandwich thing. I'm laying down this super dark brown because I want to go in with the Enchanted shade. I don't want it to be like too crazy of a transition, so I want to sandwich something in between. I'm taking a bit more of the shade Silk Cream. Another reason why I want to kind of take a break from this palette for a while is because after a long time, I've been on a no-buy for a very long time. After a long time, I actually bought a new palette. Well, I ordered one. It's kind of the same thing, but I don't have it yet. I'm still waiting for it, but I ordered the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. I'm so excited to get it. Now the funny thing is, like when I saw that she was coming out with a palette, I hadn't seen what the palette looked like or anything. In my head I was just like, no, I'm not going to even pay too much attention because I was so focused on the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star release, as is like every single makeup lover on the planet, or Shane lover. But I was so convinced that I was just going to save all my money and all my attention for the Jeffree Star and Shane palette. And then I saw her video when she was swatching it, and like I saw her video about like the launch party that she did for her subscribers, which I thought was like, well, first of all, it was super cute, but secondly, it was like the most genius PR trick in the world. It was really heartwarming to watch, and I know it came from a sincere place and all that. I'm not doubting any of her motives, like why she did that. I absolutely 100% believe that she did that because she actually felt that her subscribers are like the most important to her. But I'm just saying, as a bonus, it was a genius move in regards to PR. Why am I talking about that? I'm so sorry, I've drifted away. So when I saw her videos, I don't know, it changed my mind. Like the launch party for the subscribers, I was still like, I don't know, it's a neutrals palette, you know, I have so many neutrals palettes already, I don't need one, I'm good. And then I watched her video where she was swatching the shades and talking about them, and when I saw the swatches, I nearly died. It honestly looks like it's such a different formula that I couldn't help myself, so I ordered it. And now I'm super excited about it. And in all honesty, I do use neutral shadows the most on a daily basis. As much as I love color, as much as I love playing with them and experimenting and doing crazy looks every now and again, like, being real, I use very boring colors on a daily basis, as I'm sure most people do. It makes sense that she came out with a neutrals palette, but, you know, it also makes sense, you know, as she is Tati, and we all know how, like, she's the queen of like quality and like good reviews and very thorough research and all that kind of stuff. I don't think anyone, you know, expected any less of her, so it's really cool that she decided to kind of go all in and create something different even when it is neutral shadows. I don't know how it always happens that I end up talking so much, but I'm curious, have you guys already ordered the Tati palette? Are you going to order the Tati palette, or what are your thoughts? Let me know, I'd be very interested to know. Okay, so now we are going to jump into Enchanted. I'm going to start applying that on my outer V. Yes, I know the fallout is intense, but in all honesty, I'm not using like the best brush. This is not really a packing brush, so it's my own fault. Now I'm taking a, this is not a clean brush, this is definitely a dirty brush, but I don't have any eyeshadow on it, so just buffing over the edges of that Enchanted shade. I feel like it blends so well into that Central Park shade that we put down. I'm going over it a bit because, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of more smooth that way. By the way, I don't know how you guys feel, but I am so ready for winter, and I don't really even know like where that feeling came from, because I love autumn. I don't know, I feel like we've just kind of got into autumn and there's still a while to go before Christmas, but for some reason I'm already having the feels. And for me, every single time during this time of year, I get this urge to do a Harry Potter marathon or watch Home Alone or Grinch or something like that, you know. It's just, can't wait. I cannot wait for those things. By the way, I don't know if many of you know this about me. I'm sure I must have mentioned it at some point in one of my older videos, but I am definitely such a hermit that you cannot even imagine. I love being home. I don't like to go out very often. I mean, I do go out and I do socialize and I do spend time with my friends, and one of my favorite things is like just walking around, you know, I don't know, going for a walk in the forest or going for a drive by the seaside or something like that. I love doing that, but I don't like to go out and party or go out clubbing or, I don't know, doing stuff like that. For some reason, I just wanted to share that bit of information with you. I'm grabbing a tiny bit more of the shade Silk Cream and I'm brushing over really closely underneath my brow bone. I don't want to smudge up or mess up the smoky line that we've created. Before we cut the crease, I am going to just dip back in the shade Enchanted and pat over this part here because I just realized that I want it to be a bit more intense. Okay, and yeah, as I said, we're going to cut the lid now. So I'm going to take my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Vanilla. As I always do, I am almost out of it. Full disclaimer, this style that I'm doing, or this kind of technique, is something that I saw Raw Beauty Christy do in her video where she was talking about or testing out the Luna Beauty Spellbook palette. I can't remember. Anyway, Mane's new palette, and she did this technique, and I just thought, oh my goodness, like it looks so good and it's so pretty, and I don't know why I haven't done this before. So I'm doing that today and giving full credit to her, because I would have never thought of that like ever on my own. By the way, as we are on the topic of Christy, I saw her video where she was talking about all the products that she's not going to buy. She made some really good points in there. So her main point was that brands create so many products nowadays that it's like, it's literally a plethora of new launches every single month. And it's really, really difficult to keep up with them. There's not really even enough time to get excited about a certain kind of launch or palette that comes out, because in like a week there's something new already. And I wanted to know if you feel the same way, because I have to say I 100% agree with her. You have to be a serious makeup hoarder to want to keep up with, well, and also have a shit ton of money to keep up with all the new launches. So yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feel? I think it's also an interesting topic. By the way, I'm sorry that I keep asking you so many questions. It's all in the name of sharing our thoughts, which is very, very important, I feel. Okay, on the topic of sharing our thoughts, I actually want to give you guys a piece of news that I am super excited about. But before I do that, I want to do something about this eye look, because right now it's kind of giving me anxiety. I'm going to take just a random brush again, and I'm going to take a bit of the shade Enchanted, because I messed up the concealer a bit on this top part here. So I'm going to stamp over the edges and kind of clean it up a bit. In this part here, that it wouldn't be so harsh. I'm also just taking the previous brush with the Enchanted shade on it and stamping this part here, but I'm being very, very careful not to touch that line that we have down over there. And now I'm taking the shade Diva, and I'm going to put that on the concealer part. So the piece of news that I am super excited about is that I am going to start a podcast with one of my best friends. I'm super, super, super excited about it because I've never done anything like it. Sadly, it is going to be in Estonian, so for all of you guys who do not know the language, you'll probably not be able to listen to us. Well, you can still listen to us, you probably just won't understand what we're saying, but you know. And it's going to be all about relationships. So we're just going to kind of discuss the different views, because I think it's kind of a cool dynamic to have a male perspective and a female perspective. And also because we're best friends, I feel like we kind of bounce different ideas off of each other, and like every single time we discuss something, like we get to these really, really cool ideas. Well, not every time, but sometimes we get to these really, really cool ideas. That kind of allows new concepts and new points of views and stuff like that to emerge, which I think it's really, really cool. So I am very, 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 very excited about it, and I can't wait to see what happens and how it all turns out. As you can see, I left a small line, and I'm going to fill it with the shade Queen, this one over here. And I'm going to wet it with some MAC Fix Plus. Not that it needs it per se, because it is such a beautiful and intense shadow on its own, but I just want to add something extra. Oh my goodness. I hope that you can ignore the fallout, because holy smokes, this is so cool. Sorry, this part is bugging me a bit. Just looks a bit too harsh of a transition. And we are not going to leave it there. I'm also going to go over it with the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Midnight Cowboy. Oh my goodness, yes. Before I clean up underneath my eyes, well, finish up the other eye and clean up underneath my eyes, I am going to apply some of the black in this palette as well, just because I want to intensify my lash line. Taking the black shade in the palette, Abyss. And I'm going to run that very, very, very close to my lash line. Going back with the previous brush just to tap over this part over here. Oh yes, ooh yes. Okay, so I'm going to quickly do the other eye off camera, and I'm going to clean up underneath my eyes, and then I'm going to jump back here and we can move on with the rest of the face. Okay, so the eyes are done, the fallout has been cleaned up. I also applied some of the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base on my cheek area, and I also reapplied the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. I cannot remember the name of this. Anyway, we are now moving on to the face before we finish up the eyes with the lashes and the lower lash line, and you know how it goes. I am so excited that I finally got my hands on the Milk Makeup Blur Liquid Matte Foundation. Even though they sell this on Cult Beauty, for some reason Milk Makeup cannot be sent to Estonia, and I have no idea why. But as it turns out, there is a Sephora in Sweden, and my mum went there and she bought me this. I've heard great things about this foundation. This is in the shade Golden Light. Now, it's a bit darker than I thought it would be. Okay, wow, the coverage is insane. Wow. And yes, it is like 3 shades too dark for me. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but like, I don't know, 1 shade too dark for me, 1.5, but it's okay. And I've got a turtleneck, so it's all good. We're going to make this work somehow. And I can always use this with my self-tanner. Right? Okay, wow, yeah, this is super orange, oh my goodness. Like on camera, it looks a bit too dark for me, but when I look, oh my god, yeah, okay, I look like a pumpkin. But I am really loving the coverage of this. It's insane. The coverage is insane. I love how this foundation smells. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the High Potency Nightamins face cream by Origins. And it even kind of reminds me of the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. That also has this very, very sweet citrusy scent. Like a sweet orange scent. Oh my goodness me, I look so orange. I cannot take myself seriously. For a matte foundation, it is definitely looking very airbrushed and very dewy even, I would say. Well, not dewy, but you know, it kind of has this healthy radiance to it. Makes me look like I'm young and alive, which is always a good look. And now I'm quickly going to use some of the Anti-Age Eraser Eye Concealer in the shade Nude by Maybelline, and I'm going to go over top with the Wet n Wild Photofocus Concealer in the shade Light Ivory. Okay, I'm going to quickly do my eyebrows off camera because I cannot talk and do my eyebrows at the same time. So I'm going to do them off camera and then we're going to continue. Okay, the brows are on. I used the Catrice Eyebrow Stylist in the shade Date with Ashton, and then I went over that with the Morphe Brow Cream in the shade Latte, and then I set my brow hairs in place with the Morphe Translucent Brow Setting Gel. Now the concealer underneath my eyes has been sitting for quite some time, and I'm going to set them in place with the Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder by Too Faced. So for the lower lash line, I am going to first take the shade Silk Cream, and I'm going to run that all over my lower lash line because I want to have a softer base to apply the darker shadows on. So some of you guys know I love to read books. I read books a lot. Sometimes when I'm doing these more chatty videos, I like to talk about the books that I've recently read. And actually I want to mention two, well, one that I finished quite recently and now the other one I'm still reading, but it's from the same series. And I just want to tell you guys about it very, very briefly. I can't remember the last time when I read something this interesting. It just flew by, especially the first one. The second one I haven't been as quick with, but the first one was just mind-blowing. Okay, I'm quickly going to take the shade Enchanted again, and I'm going to work that on my lower lash line. But yeah, anyway, the book is called Sapiens. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the author's name because I know that I will butcher it, and it's one of my pet peeves. I do not like to mispronounce people's names or like words or things in general. So if I don't feel comfortable with something, then I won't say it. It is one of the most interesting books that I've read in a while. And the thing is, like, it's so informative. So if you are interested in the evolution of humankind or our history as a species in general, or why we are the way we are and how we managed to drive other species into extinction and all those kinds of things, I think it's so fascinating. So yeah, I definitely recommend it if you are into books. And the second one that I'm reading right now is Homo Deus. I hope that I'm saying it right. But yeah, it's basically like where we are right now and looking into the future. So where we are headed as a species or as humankind. So he's kind of like making everything very, very realistic and posing very serious questions about everything that we are doing, about the way that we are consuming things, about the way that we are kind of playing gods and creating more intelligent species than us, so artificial intelligence and all that kind of thing. It's really interesting. So yeah, if you are into that, then I 100% recommend reading those books. You will not be sorry. But also if you are more so into like fiction or like young adult stuff, then I would recommend you read the book Wonder, because again, it makes you think, and it was such a sweet book. If you haven't read it yet, or if you haven't seen the movie, if you're not into books, you can just see the movie. They are actually quite similar. I do prefer the book over the movie, as is almost always the case. But yeah, if you're not into reading or if you don't have time to read, then check out the movie. You will not be sorry, because I think it is such a heartwarming story. I have to say, I don't usually cry when I read books, but I cried twice during reading this book. And then when I watched the movie, I cried again. It's just, it gets to you. I'm also going to take a bit of the shade Abyss and apply that very close to my waterline. And I'm not going to take it all the way in. I'm going to keep it on the outer part only. Okay, now I want to clean up a bit in this section over here, because I feel like the dark green, I kind of blended it down a bit too far. So I'm going to take my Wet n Wild pressed powder in the shade Warm Light. I'm going to take it underneath that shadow over here and just kind of blend with the powder. By the way, guys, do you have any book or film recommendations? Anything good that you've seen or read lately? I want to add the shade Queen that we applied over here. I want to take that over here. Let's brighten up the inner corners a bit, shall we? I'm going to take the shade Beam, which is my favorite highlighting shade in the palette. Oh yes. Oh my goodness. I'm living. This is so pretty. A little curve underneath my brow bone. We are still going to apply falsies, of course, because this look is screaming for over-the-top falsies. But I first want to finish up my face makeup. We're going to take the Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette. This is the Pink Sands edition. I'm going to take a bit of the shade Capri, just with my finger. I don't really use this palette all too often just because I feel like it is such an intense highlighter that I prefer to go with something a bit more subtle usually. And now I'm mixing the shades Santorini and Azores. And just kind of going over. I feel like my hand is 10 times lighter than my face, which, I mean, it is. And now I'm taking my trusty old e.l.f. What was it called? Oh my god, I always know the name of this brush. Small tapered brush. Is that the one? Okay, last steps to go. We're going to bronze, we're going to add some mascara and some lashes and a lip, and then we'll be all done. To bronze my face, I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Omega Bronze. As I'm filming this, it is almost Halloween. I've actually had a few requests, or like people have asked me about Halloween looks in the past. But I've never done any. This might sound so silly, but I wanted to kind of explain to you guys what my reasoning is behind that. So I love watching other people do Halloween looks, and I love when people get super creative, like really thinking outside the box, or like their skills are just so out of this world. Like I remember when, I can't remember, maybe it was like a year ago or a couple of years ago, but Desi did this like melting skull look, and I remember when I was watching this video, I was like, oh my goodness, this person has like skills that are not human, you know? I love watching them, and people create such cool things. The reason why I don't like doing Halloween looks, well, first of all, I'm not even really sure that I would be able to pull any off, because I've never done any like special effects makeup or things like that. So I don't really even know how comfortable I would feel doing things like that. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure it'd be cool, but I really don't know what would come out of it. And secondly, I'm going to use my Givenchy Healthy Glow Powder. So even though I don't know why I'm already like 10 times more orange than I should be. But the second reason is that I am currently a young person, and when I see people making themselves look really ugly, it's such a bizarre thing to me, because in my head I'm like, but why not make yourself look as pretty as you possibly can for as long as you can? Because as you get older, well, you will lose your beautiful appearance anyway. So why not like take the most out of it? So that's also, I guess, one of the reasons why I'm not too keen on like making myself look like I'm rotting or dripping or falling apart or stuff like that. I don't know. I know it probably sounds so stupid. I know it's all for fun. I know people are just like getting creative with it. Am I being silly? Am I being stupid? I really don't know. But that's just how I see it. So yeah, I'm very sorry to all of you who are disappointed. And maybe, I don't know, maybe sometime in the future I will, you know, feel like trying some Halloween looks, but yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't bet on it. Anyway, okay, we are almost done. I'm trying to wrap this video up because it's already probably way too long. I'm going to coat my lashes with the Paradise Extatic Waterproof Mascara. You guys know this is my favorite mascara because it keeps my lashes curled. And after I have done that, I will apply my trusty Dole Lash Beauty, what am I saying? My trusty Dole Beauty Dole lashes in the style Jasmine, because they are the most bougie eyelashes I own. Okay, I am crazy about this look. Whoa, I'm over the moon how it turned out. It literally came out better than what I imagined. That very rarely happens. Let's finish up this video. So I'm going to apply the Jeffree Star, hopefully this will match, Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick in the shade Mannequin, and then I'm going to go over, what did I just say? And then I'm going to go over top with the Milani Moisture Matte Lipstick in the shade Innocence. Okay, it still looks pink. What should we do? Okay, let me see. What if I just apply the Milani? But I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to drive myself crazy. Okay, last but not least, I'm applying not applying, I'm spraying the Wet n Wild Photofocus 3-in-1 primer water. This is the cucumber one. And I'm quickly going to go over top with the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray, and that will be it. And this was my mega glam royal kind of eye look, using our favorite Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, and me just talking about whatever came to mind. I don't think I've been this excited about a look in a long time, so I really hope that you guys like it as much as I do, but definitely let me know in the comment section. That's it for today, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, then you can always give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can't do that, my face is way too dark. You can always give me a thumbs up, and also join my little YouTube family. That's it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!